Single whip. This is the choreographically most complex move in the form so far. It also has the biggest step that you've been asked to take. From push, you sit back, allowing the forearms to lay down, the hands to extend, and then turn the waist with all of the weight in the back. Be careful here not to twist. It's really tempting to try to achieve something and turn the hands, shoulders, and head further than the waist went. So stop there as far as the waist goes. Sitting back, turning the waist. Then shift the weight to the right and turn to the right. As you do that, gather a hook. All the weight is in the right leg. Turn the waist, extend the hook, pivot the empty left foot on the ball, and take a step. Make sure this step is wide enough to actually be a 70-30 and that you step empty. As you shift, the left arm comes up. When you have more weight forward, turn the waist, rear foot on heel, front palm turns out. Single whip. The final posture of single whip, the front arm is extended. It's not just like a push, it's actually out a little bit further. The right fingers all join to make a hook. All four of the proper fingers touch the thumb, so that around the thumb are all the other fingers. It's not just a matter of all the fingers being together and the thumb touching a few of them, but all of them come together. And the wrist is relaxed so that the hook hangs, our teacher Baton would say, like a ripe fruit. So I'm not held here, everything comes down. And look at the angle of my fingers. They're curved together here rather than the thumb being bent backwards, pressing against the other fingers. They all come together and join. Sitting back, turning the waist, shifting the weight, turning the waist, stepping, shift, turn the waist. The weight shifts here are 100% and matter, so really be careful about the 100%. So when you sit back, at this point, you're 100%. As you turn, you stay 100%. The right leg is hanging down out of my pelvis. The left quad has closed, the right is flat. Beware of, at this point, having actually started to shift so you can get a little more turn. It's very tempting to turn, oh yeah, and then turn some more. But you can see my weight has inadvertently sneaked into my right leg. So you sit back 100%. You stay 100% while you turn. Still 100% here. Shoulders over hips, nose over belly button, hands in front of shoulders. Then shift 100% to the right, and as you turn to the right, gather the hook. So the hook gathers gradually all the way through that turn. At this point, my left leg is empty. I turn the waist, extending the hook. My left leg stays empty. I take a step, no weight, and then I shift into a 70-30. In the final posture, the left wrist is in front of the left shoulder, the left elbow dangles. So the wrist isn't over here at the side, it's right in front of me. One of the things that happens is that when people come through here, their hands go past where they're going to be, and when they finish, Their left hand is out at the side, so it needs to be right in the front. When I get to the final, when I'm finishing the posture up, as I come through here, my left hand has reached the place in space that it's going to finish. And then I turn around that. So left wrist is in front of left shoulder, left elbow dangles. The right arm, the wrist is at shoulder height, not drooping down. And the reason that the hand can be back slightly is that the chest opens. So ideally, when I get to the final posture, the right hand is very slightly pointed back. But that happens because I open the shoulder here, not because I push the arm back. See what happened when I did that? The elbow went up, the shoulder went up. This is all tight and horrible. So the chest opens. That's what lets the arm expand. I would way rather see students with their hand slightly towards the front corner, but the chest and shoulder relaxed, and then next week it moves back a little bit. Next month it moves back a little bit more. Next year it moves back a little bit more. 5 years, actually where you want it to be. So make sure that right shoulder stays relaxed. Hands are shoulder wide apart, nose over belly button, hands in front of shoulder. As I shift and turn, the hook gradually gathers. It comes back to a place where it is 1 fist width from my chest to the hook, and where the left hand has come directly underneath it. We were taught that this is like you're holding a bag of tea in your right hand, and the left hand is a saucer to catch the drips. So you don't want the drips to fall on the floor. The upper arm is down at 45 degrees, not parallel to the ground, not hugged down, so that you still have room for the egg or the steamed bun under your armpit. And then at this point, as I turn, the hook hand extends on a straight line. Wherever the forearm is pointed, that's where the hook is going to extend. So I don't do a curve with a swoop back. It goes straight out. Even as everything is changing in here, the motion of the hook hand is straight out. There's a lot of little things happening inside here. Some of these give rise to applications that you'll see in push hands or working with another person. Some of them are basically momentary motions that happen on the way to the next one. So as I sit back, I'm not, again, just like coming into push, I'm not pushing the arms out. The fingertips stay in space and I move away from them. Notice what happens here. The palms go down, the elbow comes up. So I don't just drop the forearms down where nothing changed in the upper arm. I sit back, extending. I turn. At the end of the turn here, I sink into my rear foot, which causes a very slight deflection down in the hands, and then I direct the energy as it rebounds out of that leg into my elbow. Slight elbow strike here. Now I'm gathering, coming down into the right foot. As I let that rebound send the hook hand out, notice that the left hand also responds. It's moving away from me here. It doesn't just stay glued to my ribs as I do this. You may find yourself gluing it to your ribs in order to try to hold on to the upper body so you can keep your balance. What you need to do is let it all be relaxed and loose rather than tightening there. As I turn, the arm extends. As I step, everything changes too. So this is not rigidly held, trying to step. I'll turn so you can see me. Hold all of this, move the foot. You can see what I'm doing that, it's tension in the upper body. But instead what happens is the whole body is involved in that step. Everything is changing as I do this. And make sure you step with enough width. There's a tendency to step here. It's a difficult step without much width. Then when you get into the final posture, you either won't be able to square the waist, or when you square the waist, you'll push the rear foot out on the heel. So if you find yourself either not able to square in the final posture or pushing the rear heel out, that tells you you probably didn't step with enough width. So, twice more. We're told Professor Chung said this was the most auspicious posture to hold. It's the posture of maximum extension. So feeling yourself fill every cubic millimeter of the body and holding this posture without tightness or tension. Single whip. Yeah, that's okay.